An extraordinary moment on US television has set the internet alight with Meghan Markle, who claims to view Princess Diana as some type of guardian angel, who tells Prince Harry that she communicates with his late mother on a regular basis. She even sometimes comes down and talks to her when she's in yoga. But the moment that Drew Barrymore brought up the fact that she had met Princess Diana and showed her a picture of that meeting, Meghan completely lost the plot. Did you see the body language? Meghan Markle literally steps backwards. She's so horrified. The Royal News Network said on this, Meghan hated Drew sharing this picture of Princess Diana. She literally keeps physically moving away from Drew and that picture. I think Meghan's inferiority complex is coming into play here, in addition to a bit of the narcissistic rage that the attention isn't all on her. There was much more from this interview, by the way, including the way she's now pimped out her children once more. We'll get to that in just one moment. But first, let me bring in our royal mastermind, Prince Harry's biographer, Angela Levin. Angela, what was going on there?
Well, she obviously didn't like it, did she?
Not at all.
She's set this story about the late Princess Diana, and that's worked very well with Harry, who does believe that she's up there in the clouds and telling him which way to go, what to do, and that she is very, very close friends with Meghan. He really believes that, and he, I think, holds on to it because it makes him feel better. But Meghan can't allow anyone else there because this is very, very private. And she gets, I think, very, very angry if anything else happens. I mean, she has lied on the earth near where Diana is buried, and actually, help me, and done all that sort of thing. And she feels, or she says, she is doing that for her. So that's absolutely no good if someone else has met her and feels that she was wonderful, and that feels that she's also in the same group. She doesn't want that at all. We've even seen with Meghan that she's all alone in who she wants to be. She wants to be the best one.
All right, folks, we just witnessed one of the most awkward Meghan Markle moments ever caught on camera. During her interview with Drew Barrymore, Meghan had a full-on meltdown when Drew showed a picture of herself as a child meeting Princess Diana. And let me tell you, it was painfully obvious that Meghan hated it. She literally steps back from the photo, her entire body language changes, and suddenly she doesn't know what to say. And now, experts are saying that this is Meghan's narcissistic rage kicking in, because she simply couldn't handle the attention being on someone else's connection to Diana. Let's break it all down. So let's set the scene. Drew Barrymore, being the sweetheart that she is, shares this beautiful childhood memory of when she met Princess Diana. It's a touching moment, a special connection. And what does Meghan do? She completely freaks out. Body language experts have already analyzed this clip, and the results are damning. The second that photo comes out, Meghan physically moves away from Drew, like she can't even be near it. Why? This is a woman who has spent years talking about how much she loves and connects with Princess Diana. But the moment someone else shares a real memory of her, he panics.
And she doesn't want to be inferior. So the fact that she must have felt that, what am I going to do? She didn't know what to say. Fascinating.
It was utterly fascinating because this is the problem in these TV appearances. Meghan can never really hide her true self, no matter how much she tries. In the end, the mask always slips.
The first time I met Diana, she did have this amazing aura. She makes you feel, you almost can't speak. That she's so beautiful, and her eyes are so piercing but warm towards you that you think, oh gosh, I've got to do my very best. But I don't believe that she's going to tell me what to do in the world.
No,
I'm not good enough, really, would I?
I would have loved to have met her. I would have loved to have met her.
Very special.
Yeah, I'm very jealous
Very
about that.
special.
Now, look, obviously, Angela, we see the children being constantly pimped out. All of Prince Harry's rules about protecting them have gone out the window because they have this Netflix show to promote. And look at this. She actually enlisted the help of the children for this segment with Drew Barrymore so that they could make cookies. And again, when you look at the pictures showing their interaction, lots of focus saying that Meghan was, look, see that kiss? It's almost like, I think we've got a still of it, but it's like she's almost grabbing him and she's very much looking at the camera. It's very odd body language. Now, the Drew Barrymore show got such pushback on all of this, Angela, they've actually had to protect their posts on X. But at the end of the day, can you understand why people are so horrified that as soon as this Netflix show had to be promoted, all of the thoughts of privacy of the children is out the window?
Yes, I mean, I'd be one of those who's been absolutely shocked because it was so important to Harry that they were protected, obviously, because he's had, he's lost his mother and he doesn't want them to be in any sort of risk. And so but this was more important, that she got them to be with her. And I think it's absolutely terrible to use a child to allow you to earn money or to show off or to show the world how clever you are. I mean, it's awful. And I also think that actually saying that Archie said, oh, mummy, don't work so hard. He's 5. Whether you believe it or not, he's now attached to that sentence. However old he is, that's his sentence. And I think it's terrible that the child should be part of that. I mean, it just is disgusting, particularly when a husband doesn't want to do it. So all this lovey-dovey, kiss you, cuddle, hold on tight, I think it's more important to actually go along with what he really, really doesn't like and what really, really worries him. And she doesn't do that because it's more important that she is there and get more people watching if she's got her children there. It's really unbelievable.
And let's talk about what she actually said, because honestly, it makes no sense. Instead of engaging with Drew's moment, instead of saying something meaningful like, that must have been so special for you, or, Diana was such an incredible woman, Meghan completely dismisses it. She barely acknowledges the picture and just mutters, oh my gosh, I'll tell H for sure. Excuse me. What? I mean, who even talks like that? Imagine someone shares a beautiful childhood memory with you and your response is, oh, I'll tell my husband. How is that a normal reaction? The truth is, Meghan was caught off guard. She didn't know what to say because she didn't want to acknowledge that someone else had a connection to Diana that had nothing to do with her.
Yeah, she has no true morals, does she? Because any of the morals can be thrown out the window at a moment's notice. Now, Angela,
when you want it.
Yeah,
gone.
Totally, just gone. Lots of people were talking about how insincere the interaction was between Meghan and Drew Barrymore.
Well, I think Meghan didn't know what to do. She didn't like it because she was her guest was very confident and full of information, and Meghan doesn't like that. It makes her feel very awkward, I think. And she was, she's moving all the time. She didn't know what to do. She didn't want to touch her, but on the other hand, maybe she should. Very, very uneasy.
It really was, wasn't it? It
yeah,
really
very
was.
Uneasy.
And obviously there were a lot of lies as well in the interview. Angela,
oh, yes. I did this. You did. I did this and that, and they all thought I was amazing. And then I went on to this and that. I mean, we can all do that, but we shouldn't. But it's ridiculous to do that. She doesn't have to grab all that information. I don't think she needs to do that. She's got things which she can say, but that's not good enough. She's got to be 1 or 2 up on this other person all the time. She can't bear it if anybody actually has done more, said more, seen more than she has herself.
Do you notice there, Angela, she couldn't think of any others because there are no others, just made up.
No, but not only did she just say zebra, but she said, what makes him, your child, like their father? She didn't say, give me a word that his can say that his father would say. She didn't want to actually say, well, he's got the same sense of humor, or he's got just as good running with the football, something. But just to say one word means absolutely nothing. She didn't want to. She didn't want him in. This is Meghan's show, and she doesn't want it. And you see that even if it's a little small thing like that, she doesn't want to say, oh, well, Harry's wonderful with XYZ. You know, it's not. It's just one word, zebra, which I mean, you know, it's nonsense, isn't it? One word. It's absolute rubbish.
It is. Now, can we move on to With Love, Meghan, which is now the biggest Netflix critical flop in history? I mean, it's gone wrong, Angela, in so many ways. She's been accused of racism for the way that she mocked Mindy Karlin's accent. She's been absolutely slammed for her horrendous fake dancing, which I think we can see here. And I always just think, Angela, please, God, make it stop, make it stop. And then Jack Royston of Newsweek, who used to be a supporter of Meghan Markle, is reporting that even her favourite magazine, The Economist, has mocked her as Marie Antoinette. And he says the big story of the With Love fallout has not been the fact of the criticism, but the brand names printing it. Jaw dropper after jaw dropper, of which this is probably the biggest sting. But I mean, there are others. The Daily Mail did a good job, actually, of showing how the show is just hated by everyone. However, Angela, they then did something incredibly odd, putting on their front page a sycophantic, in fact, I mean, sycophantic doesn't really do it justice. It was like a piece of propaganda by an author called Bryony Gordon. Now, I can't stand this woman. She's a nasty piece of work. But here she is with Meghan Markle, hugging all over each other. And so they have run a piece of absolute propaganda about Meghan, and they say what Meghan did after we had lunch together tells you everything about her. So you think, oh, wow, she must have done something really, really lovely. No. She just sent a note after she had lunch saying things were nice. And then she's really gone for people who are criticising the show. Now, as the Daily Mail itself has just pointed out, Angela, the criticism is coming from everywhere. It's coming from across the political spectrum. It's coming from across the media spectrum. But Bryony Gordon has the cheek to say, if anything, the bitchy reaction tells us just why we need more shows like it, where people hang out with their friends in nice kitchens doing things they enjoy instead of poring over all the things they loathe.
Now here's where things get really interesting. According to royal experts, what we just witnessed was Meghan experiencing a full-blown case of narcissistic rage. And what does that mean? It means that Meghan couldn't handle not being the center of attention. She has spent years carefully crafting this image that she is somehow Diana's spiritual successor. But in this moment, Drew Barrymore had an actual connection to Diana, one that had nothing to do with Meghan. And that was unacceptable to her. Angela Levin breaks this down perfectly. She says that Meghan has spent so much time telling Prince Harry that Diana guides them, that she's watching over them like some kind of guardian angel. But the second someone else expresses their personal connection to Diana, she shuts down. Because in Meghan's world, Diana's memory is hers to control. And let's not forget, Meghan has pulled some weird stunts with Diana before. She literally told Oprah that she would lie in the dirt near Diana's grave, whispering, "Help me." I mean, what? This woman has been using Diana's legacy as a tool for her own image for years. No, she's been caught in the act.
What did you make of this Bryony Gordon defense of this awful show?
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of her either. But she was with them when they sort of tried to help people with their mental health. And I think that's where she felt that she could say things. But actually, she called us all hate watchers. if we found anything that was wrong with what Meghan was doing. And I think that's actually tells you what she feels like. But it's just, she said, I'm always amazed by the vitriol spewed at Meghan. Vitriol, it's absolutely disgusting. It's as if she's like Vladimir Putin. Well, I mean, it's just not quite right. And I think that she obviously felt, or the paper obviously felt, they had to have something saying that Meghan was absolutely wonderful. They should get Bryony to do it because they've actually met. But they're scared because there's, Harry's going to court soon, and next year actually, isn't it, 2026? And they've got to show that they are giving balance, this obsession with balance. So this is the balance when the world is saying, what a load of tosh, this is ridiculous. And a lot of things are dangerous about what she's saying, which you really shouldn't take by any chance. And then she's saying, this is a perfect, wonderful person. And none of us are, but she's actually doing this, actually protect the paper. Should it give Harry some way of getting even more money out of them?
Well, that's a good point, but I'm sorry. It was just awful. She said, do you know what I love most about this show? That it's so absolutely unapologetically her. Beautiful cursive handwriting and all. She's doing what makes her happy. And there really is no better way to make a mockery of the haters than that. I'm pretty sure Meghan has spent enough time close to British culture to know that a lifestyle series of this type would open her up to exactly the kind of cynical criticism that she's receiving. It's a credit to her that she went ahead and made one anyway, and that she had a gorgeous time doing it, sprinkling decorative flowers on all of the hate. And she says, but gosh, isn't it depressing how seeing a woman in her happy place seems to be so triggering to some people, Angela?
Yeah, it's just writing words, salad words, I think they say. They don't really mean anything. She's just there trying to protect the paper. I don't believe any of it. It's nonsense. And nobody feels like that about somebody else who they really hardly know. And they can see that a lot of it is nonsense. She's just writing easily to make sure that actually there is a balance. That's what I think. I don't think she believes it. She's doing what she's told. I mean, that's what a lot of journalists have to do on a paper, and to sort of get it all right.
Yeah, indeed. And she's certainly making lots of money off it too, appearing on ITV this morning to defend Meghan. And as you say, it's not
they can't find anyone, so you've got to find somebody, haven't you? It's quite a hard thing, because a lot of the people who are sort of neutral or kind or doing that, nobody actually says this is a good thing that has been done. Nobody. So you needed someone, and then they would go around all the papers and the TVs things and say it again. But I don't believe that it's really felt.
And this is the big question. Has Meghan Markle been using Princess Diana's name as a PR tool all along? Because let's look at the facts. She constantly compares herself to Diana. She told Oprah that Diana's spirit guides her. She literally said that Harry and Diana talk through her. She made sure to wear Diana's jewelry in key public moments. No. The second someone else shares a Diana story, she shuts down. This isn't a coincidence. This is a carefully crafted narrative. Meghan has built her entire public image on the idea that she's the modern-day Diana. And the second that illusion is challenged, he panics. Angela Levin says it best. Meghan has made Diana's memory all about herself. She wants people to think of her as the next Diana, and Harry? He fully buys into it. But the truth? Meghan will never be Diana. And the more she tries, the more obvious it becomes.
And there is lots to criticize about this show, Angela. The latest is that, the bath salts recommendation that Meghan gave. Sorry, you go, Angela.
Don't touch them. I mean, she doesn't measure things. And actually what she can put with oils and different smelly things, you can actually make the skin burning. And you
Yes,
have
yes.
to.
Well, exactly, because there's an expert who's actually gone into this. Watch, and she goes on,
And it has
Angela,
to do.
to as you
I
say.
read her this morning.
Yeah,
I read her
you
this
explain.
morning.
You explain.
Yeah, well, it's just that actually you have to be very careful when you were dealing with things like that blend. You know, you can't just throw it in. I mean, that's like cooking, isn't it? You can't just throw it in. You have to be careful. You have to make sure that it's right and not dangerous one bit. And I think a lot of people have written to me saying, you know, how could anybody let that go through? You know, they can be sued because this is a terrible thing to do. It doesn't work, and people can have bleeding legs and take the skin off. You know, what on earth does she think she's doing? Why doesn't she actually make sure the amount she's doing? I mean, I'm no scientist, but you have to be very careful with those things, that you are actually, you know, putting the right amount at the right time. Goodness me. I mean, but
Deeply irresponsible, you might say. But that's the problem when you get an amateur who doesn't know how to do any of this stuff. Angela, I also wanted to ask you about Meghan's clothing. I mean, you have crunched the numbers and worked out that she spent £130,000 on her outfits. But I think the thing to me that was most shocking is the fact that where was the colour, Angela? Because do you remember one of Meghan's lies, I think it was to Oprah Winfrey, was that she was unable to wear bright colours when she was in the royal family because, you know, she had to coordinate her outfits with the late Queen Elizabeth II and Camilla and Catherine, who were more senior than her in the pecking order. But actually, the royals always said that was a total lie. She could wear whatever she wants. And look at what she chose to wear in this series, Angela. Beige as beige can be.
Well, what she said, what Meghan said, was that the royal family didn't want her to stand out. That was the words, that was the sentence she said. And if she wore bright red or bright orange, or, you know, that way people would see her, and they didn't want to see her. So she had to wear neutral colors. But she keeps on wearing them. But the thing is, I mean, she changed innumerable times. And you think, well, did she get a stain on that? You know, she spent an awful lot of money wearing all these off-white clothes. And you think to yourself, this is not how you work. Why don't you put an apron on, and that will make sure that you don't have to keep changing your clothes? I mean, it is very odd. And you see, you know, short sleeves, long sleeves, but mostly I would say 2/3 was neutral color. And she does that a lot, doesn't she? She says what shouldn't happen, and then she does it herself, but it's all right if she does something. A bit like airplanes, isn't it? Don't do it, but I can. You know, all of that is totally.
And now let's talk about the public reaction, because people are not buying Meghan's act anymore. Social media is roasting her reaction to Drew Barrymore's photo. People are calling her out for being fake, insecure, and obsessed with controlling the Diana narrative. Even longtime Meghan supporters are saying this was a bad look. Because let's be real, if Meghan truly respected Diana's legacy, why wouldn't she celebrate other people's memories of her? The fact that she physically recoiled from Drew's picture tells you everything you need to know. And this brings us to the biggest question. If Meghan's entire brand is built on her connection to Diana, what happens when people stop believing it? Because right now, that illusion is crumbling fast.
Can we cleanse ourselves, Angela, with some, I would argue, really nice media content from the royal family?
The king.
The king. So before you reveal what's going on, can we have a look at this quite extraordinary video?
Yes.
Angela, what is going on? Is he becoming a DJ?
Yes. I mean, he's very modern monarch, I think you could call him now. He's going to have a king's music room. Camilla, the queen, she has her reading room, and it's done phenomenally well all around the world. And she felt that she wanted to encourage people by saying what she thought was good. That way, if you go into a library or go into a shop, you don't know what to choose. And now this should be the same from the king. He's got this king's music room, and it's believed that he's picked the music himself. It starts on Monday to celebrate the
it's Commonwealth Day, isn't it? I think it's for Commonwealth Day.
Yes, to celebrate the Commonwealth Day. And he's got a very large range of music. You know, he likes music from the soldiers, and he likes Marley, and he likes Cara Minogue, and he's done a whole variety of songs and music. And the reason he wants to do that, he says for himself, it makes him happy, he relaxes, it's very good, and it's very nice, it's very calm, and it actually makes you feel good. And he wants to make everybody feel as good as possible. And it starts on Monday, and it's going to be played every day of Monday for that week. And I hope, and I'm sure it will get going, and it will be done every week, every month or something like that, so that we can enjoy it. And I think it's a very, very good idea, because there is so much music. And I think people, if you go through the decades and all that, you can have a very enjoyable time. And it, you know, can be classical, it can be modern, it can be anything. And I think that for him to do that, he's going to tell little stories in between, one or two, which probably will make us all laugh. And that's what he's going to do.
Amazing.
Next.
Yes, and there's a bit of Bob Marley, there's a bit of Kylie Minogue, there's a bit of Grace Jones, and this is how you do it in a classy manner with a purpose. Angela Levin, thank you so much.
So let's break it all down. Meghan Markle had a full-blown meltdown over a picture of Princess Diana. She physically stepped back, she barely acknowledged it, and experts say this was a textbook case of narcissistic rage. Why? Because she couldn't handle the idea that someone else had a real connection to Diana. And this proves what many of us have suspected all along. Meghan has been using Diana's name for PR. She has spent years carefully crafting this narrative that she is Diana's chosen one. But the moment she's faced with real history, she panics. And here's what I want to know. Does this change the way you see Meghan Markle? Has she officially taken the Diana comparisons too far? And why do you think she reacted so badly to Drew's photo? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.